Doing good, doing good. We got a new segment today, Craig. This is episode 139, Talks on Tuesday, CeeDee Lamb edition, and we're going to come up with a question of the week each week and discuss it as our topic on Tuesdays. Now, the question of the week this week is CeeDee Lamb ready to take over the number one spot in the Dallas? We're going to discuss that on why we think he might, why we may think he might not. We got, of course, got the headlines of the week. We got the XFL has come out with some interesting information. We have Kyle Murray, and we got a Kyler Murray debacle in his contract. We have Joe Burrow having surgery, and much more after this, guys. All right, guys, like I just said, we got a new segment for you, question of the week. We're going to come up with the question of the week, or if it doesn't even matter, Craig. I don't even care where we get it. We see it on Sports Center or whatever here on the radio, and we want to discuss it. We will pull that out. So the question is CeeDee Lamb ready to take over for the Cowboys? And he's got to take over the number one spot this year. You know, they just lost Amari Cooper. Excuse me, sorry about that. I had a burp. They just lost Amari Cooper. Okay, he goes over to the Cleveland Browns, and now he's without a quarterback, which is kind of funny. But CeeDee Lamb, your thoughts first. Let me go to you, Craig, because your thoughts of CeeDee Lamb so far, being a Cowboys fan. What do you think of him so far? His 2 years in the NFL.
He's been everything that you've asked of him, except for he has a very big tendency to drop footballs in very key situations. He can make some of the most mind-blowing, layback, falling away catches, and the easy one right across the middle for a first down that continues to drive that's important, or the one that continues to drive the football down the field and make a key first down and kind of tilt the field in the other direction is the one he seems to not make, and it seems to be the easier one. I don't know if he's looking to get up the field. I don't know if he's trying to make a big play because he's known for the after the catch, type deal. He's not known for basically blowing by guys, but he's known for making people miss and going down the field. And so that's the only problem I've had is the couple key drops that he's had.
From watching him, he's a good wide receiver. From listening to 105.3 The Fan over the years, I kind of agree with this point. Is he's kind of been a disappointment in the after the catch game because in college that's what he was: catch it, broke tackles, down the field, could burn you at any second. And he really hasn't done that in the NFL. We haven't seen that kind of jump over in the game. And I don't know if it's because the players are faster, can cut and tackle a lot better.
Yeah, I think
playing nobodies in college football. That would be my only kind of disappointment from him. And like you said, he does drop quite a few passes. I went into his college and I stats, and I wanted to see his averages. I wanted to see his average per catch. I wanted to see his touchdowns and stuff like that. And he had a great college career. He got better each season. He played 3 years for Oklahoma. His first year was only 800 yards. Then he jumped up to 1,100 yards. And then his third year, he jumped up to 1,300 before being drafted. He averaged 19 yards a catch his last season, and he scored 15 touchdowns with 62 catches. You go into the NFL, those numbers are going to drop a little bit. You got different factors. He had 1,102 yards his rookie season. Fantastic for a rookie wide receiver. He averaged 14 yards a catch, only 6 touchdowns, with 79 receptions. And then last year he dropped off a little bit in yards, 935. He averaged 12.6 yards a catch, which that dropped as well, and that's lower than any of his college as well. And then you got 5 touchdowns. And I think the biggest thing he needs to come up with is more touchdowns. But I even went back and looked at Amari Cooper's best season with Dallas, and his best season he only had 8 touchdowns. It's never like he never had double digits.
Yeah, I mean, Dallas has had so many people that the touchdowns are spread all around. So, I can't really go with that because, Dak does not like to focus in on one guy. It's not like this is my touchdown guy. Amari Cooper was never that guy. Lamb was never that guy. He throws more, to be honest, in the red zone. He throws the tight end more. So, but I do need Lamb, and my concern here is he's never faced a double team. So how does he react to that? That's a concern. He's never had to face that. He's always been in the slot, or he's always been the other side. He's always had single coverage. How does he react to the double coverage, the safety over the top? Can he get away from that guy, or does that just completely take him out of the? Can you take CeeDee Lamb out of the game? Because where Amari Cooper, and I don't know if he learned from Amari. There's different videos of them working together on the precise route running of Amari Cooper. I don't know where Lamb ranks in that. We will see when it comes to camp and preseason in the first 2 weeks, because they face 2 very good defenses coming out of the gate.
Right. And that was my second. That's probably the biggest concern there is he's never faced a double team, and having Amari Cooper on the field is going to help him out a lot. He doesn't have to face a double team. He's able to get single
coverage.
Right
now, Dallas doesn't have that other guy.
Yeah, Gallup is hopefully going to be that guy. What you just signed him to contract, but he's going to miss the first 3. They did sign. I went back and they did sign the guy from Pittsburgh, Washington. His last name's Washington. So he was decent there. I think that will help you out. You got your
James Washington.
Yes, you will get your tight end. Is he going to? Did he show up to camp? I mean,
he
is showed
he going to play?
Yeah,
okay. he played it. He the longest he could go without being fined, and then he showed up. So.
Yeah, and I don't think CeeDee Lamb's as great as a route runner as Amari Cooper. I don't think that's
I don't think anybody is. Yeah,
right. I mean, Amari Cooper's pretty good at route running, and I just it's kind of assumed by a lot of people or Cowboy fans that CeeDee Lamb's going to take over that and take that next step, and I just don't know if we're going to see it this year. I think it's going to take a couple years for him to take over that spot. So if you had asked me right now, is CeeDee Lamb ready to go take over that number 1 spot, handle the double team this season? I would have to say no, just because we haven't seen him with the double team yet, and that's the biggest question mark. I want to see more catches. I want to see bigger plays, catch the ball, break a tackle. We saw it in college football a lot, and we just haven't seen it yet in the NFL.
Yeah, no, I agree. He has not had the breakaway. He has not turned 5 into 40. His favorite is the slant across the middle. If he gets away from that guy, he gets a little bit, but he has not been the elite. 1,100. You can't complain about 1,100 and 10 touchdowns. That's a solid season. If he can do that again this year, I'll be happy. We're just going to have to see what that offense is like. I'm very concerned. I believe if Zeke comes in and is in good a shape as he is, as much as I don't believe that he still has it,
as they say, yeah.
If the Cowboys can run the football and force that guy down in the box instead of over the top and free Lamb up a little bit, and keep the defense honest, then I think he has a good season. If they can pin their ears back and say we're not concerned about the Cowboys' backfield, and can play the over the top defense, and I think the Cowboys struggle. So it's going to depend on that and what Lamb can do. He's not Tyreek Hill. He's not going to take the top off the defense. The Cowboys don't have that guy. They got rid of almost everybody. A Cooper was their deep threat. The other guy that went to San Francisco, he was the other deep threat. They just don't have that guy. So really, to be honest, I really hoped that they would sign somebody, and maybe Washington is that guy. Maybe he has enough speed to kind of go over the top, and Gallup is as well when he comes back. But I think you've got 4 very important football games in the first month that Gallup's going to miss.
Yeah, and you starting off there, talking about rushing the football. Well, you play a really good rushing team against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You open up game 1. So good luck rushing on that defense. But and then you go to, you got the Bengals coming in right after that. So I like I said, to me, this is Dak's prove it year. To really feel if he's going to live up to the $40 million contract he got. But going back to the question, Craig, yes or no, right now, do you think Lamb is going to be that number 1 guy this season and meet those expectations?
I think he has to. I think Kellen Moore is the right guy to put him in the right situation and get the right routes ran to make him that guy. Dak has never been the guy that is, I'm going to force this guy the ball. So even though Amari Cooper was the one, not every game did he have to be the guy that carried the load. And that's what Dallas has been known for, is having the blanket of offense, the multiple weapons, and the threat to throw the ball all around the yard. And they don't have that this year. So it will be a test. We're going to see if he's ready, and you're going to see right out of the gate, because you're going to have him on the lockdown corner in Tampa. You're going to have him on the lockdown corner in Cincy, and we're going to see if this guy can show up and play. I believe he can. I believe by the numbers and watching him play and watching what he did in camp and how much he worked with Dak in camp, I believe he's taking it seriously and will show up ready. But it's going to take Kellen Moore and some offensive schemes to get him open.
Yes, the offensive coordinator and the scheme is going to be very important on how they are able to maneuver him around and get him open. I still would like to see him in the slot every now and then where he's not just on one spot,
absolutely.
move him around a lot. And going to be an interesting year for the Dallas Cowboys, and that's just one of the many questions going into the season for them. All right, guys. Well, that's our segment on the question of the week, the CeeDee Lamb. So let us know what you think, guys. Thanks for listening and watching our show. If you're watching on YouTube, you can go ahead and comment on our show as well. We're going to move over to the headlines of the week here, and it is a football dominant headline show, which is fine with me. First, we're going to start off with not the NFL, but the XFL. All right. The XFL has come out and announced their cities. Okay, so they have 8 teams in 8 cities, and 3 of which are all in Texas. Okay, we got Arlington, Texas, Houston, Texas, San Antonio, Texas. So the XFL knows the audience. They know Texas is the true football state. Okay, and they plan on having the 3 teams here. They have Orlando, Las Vegas, Seattle, St. Louis, and Washington. And they actually dropped 3 teams. They had to drop 3 teams to add some new ones. They dropped New York. They dropped LA, which LA has a problem getting fans to come watch the Chargers, let alone the XFL. And they dropped Tampa Bay. Those were the 3 lowest on average viewers for the season 2 years ago of XFL. They will be returning next year. I'm interested to see what they have in store, what The Rock has up his sleeve. Is there going to be more of an entertainment show with it because The Rock is running it? We'll see. I watched a couple games of the XFL when it was around. It lasted the full season and kind of disappeared. They blamed it on COVID. It's the reason why they kind of shut it down, or why it didn't, pick up. I think it was TV ratings. And we all know that these other football leagues don't really last. They don't make it past a year. Some didn't make it halfway. Some made it a year and stopped. I don't know if XFL is going to make it. But it's football. When football season is not around, because they're not going to compete with the NFL, they would get slaughtered. So, is the XFL something you're interested in, Craig? One bit to maybe watch, maybe go to a cheaper show. You're going to get the cheaper, the play is not going to be as good. But have you watched any of these leagues? Are you willing to go to them?
I didn't watch this one that just finished. I didn't really catch any of that. I didn't really watch any of that, but I did watch the XFL when it was on, and there was some, I mean, it wasn't terrible football, and you had a couple guys that did get some contracts out of that deal. Dallas just signed a linebacker that was in the XFL. There's been some wide receivers and some other guys that have gotten, a look. I think this is good for your college guys that need another year or two of playing the sport and don't really have that option. So when they run out of eligibility, and with The Rock, I hope it's not as
Gimmicky,
McMahon WWE like.
Yeah, I don't think it will be.
that he, because being that he played football in college and played the game and understands what the sport is, I'm hoping he keeps it more geared towards the game and not towards the glitz and glamour and this is the XFL type deal. Hopefully I still believe he's going to come out and do like he did for the Super Bowl and
Yeah.
announce this team and announce that team and get the hype up. And he's the biggest thing going. Every movie he's ever in is a blockbuster. People flood to see it. And I think people will, at least for the first couple weeks, flood to see what he's doing here and see if he can work the magic that he's worked in the big screen and work the magic that he's worked for wrestling. If he can work it again one more time for the XFL and save this, because this is his last chance. If it doesn't work out this time, then it'll be gone.
This is definitely the last chance for this to take off. And, I watched the first couple games and kind of kept up with the Arlington team here when they played, and it was okay football. I like the uniforms and there's some stuff that we saw and that the XFL did that I was like, man, if they did that in the NFL, it would be a lot better. The sky cam, they had a drone camera, which is pretty cool. They had the automatic replay from a guy above that was watching the play. He was calling in right down there, bloop, and it happened in a matter of seconds. I really like that kind of things, and I think the XFL have a plan with the NFL to work on safety and work on different things. So we could see some of that innovation come to the XFL eventually. But this is it. This is his last chance, and I think with adding The Rock on, you're going to be able to get it promoted a lot better. That's the problem with this last league. I saw the first game of the season, and that's it. I didn't know where to find them. I didn't know what days they came on. I never heard anything.
Until the championship. Yeah. I mean, there was a championship, but I still don't even know who won it or what championship was on.
Yeah. We lost all connectivity with that league, and it's over. And I don't know if it'll ever come back, but this is XFL starting up in 2023, and we'll see how it goes. And maybe it goes better. It wasn't too terrible, and going to a game might not be so bad here in Arlington, and for cheap tickets, and maybe check that out and review it on the podcast or something. But all right, well, what a debacle this is. Kyler Murray has to have a mandate in his contract. Okay, this came out that states he must study up to 4 hours of film a week. This is a debacle in many different forms. Okay, first of all, it's a debacle that this is actually even in a contract that this is allowed to get released by Arizona. Okay, I think this is something that they release on purpose. This quarterback and this general manager, the owner, the team, whoever's doing this, It's been a debacle. Their arguments have been public. They've released stories that talk about how Kyle Murray is selfish, how he's not mature. And now they sign him and give him all this money. We think it's water under the bridge, but this comes out that he had, like, this makes Kyle Murray look horrible. If you're a quarterback in the NFL that wants to win, especially, you look at the elite quarterbacks, the great quarterbacks of all time, Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, they know what it takes to win. The hard work, dedication, studying, film studying. To have a quarterback that doesn't want to do that, doesn't want to put the work in, it makes him look lazy, makes him look like everything they said about him is true. This is quite a debacle. And if the Arizona Cardinals actually believe that he doesn't put in the work and he is selfish and he is immature, then why did you just sign him to be the second highest paid quarterback of all time? There's so many questions with this. And I'm surprised this came out.
I'm not surprised it came out because of who we're talking about. Cliff Kingsbury is still back in college and wants to call these guys out on the rug, and he thinks that it's gonna fix them. He thinks it's going to make them show up and make them deal. If you listen to Jeff on Friday, he told us how Russell Wilson goes in and breaks down the game as a fan. Then he breaks down the game as a quarterback. And then he writes this 16-page, get up and gives it to all the players and hides trick questions in it to make sure the guys on his team read it and understand it and are following the same type of work ethic he has. Apparently, Kyler Murray doesn't know what work ethic is. And so this does not look good on Kyler Murray. This looks like the Jamarcus Russell and the Ryan Leaf and I just have enough talent to get by. I just have to walk in the door, and when I get here, I got everything. Don't worry about it. Well, that
that was a Michael Vick way as well.
And Vic had enough to do it. Vic is about the only one he had enough to be able to do that. He didn't have to show up. He showed up when he wanted to. When he showed up, he was lucky enough that the talent in his pinky finger was enough to get him by. But it doesn't work for most people. It didn't work for Ryan Leaf. It didn't work for Tim Tebow. Tim Tebow was the greatest college quarterback in the history of college quarterbacks. And I saw from sitting on my couch on a Saturday afternoon that Tim Tebow was going to be a bust. And he was. People called me crazy, but I had that pegged from the deal because the run and shoot offense from the 1987 wishbone wasn't going to cut it in the NFL, Tim. So the bottom line is that it appears that Kyler Murray believes he's Michael Vick, believes he can use his legs, get around people, he can run across the field, run away from people, and he can make all the throws. Well, here's a newsflash, Kyler. You don't have your saving grace wide receiver for the first 6 games. So let me know how that works out when you don't study film and you go, well, D-Hop will just, oh, wait, he's not over there. Now what do I do, coach?
Yeah.
And so I think it's going to be a huge wake-up call because in camp he's going to have Hopkins. And if Arizona is smart, they don't let Hopkins go out there because it's giving the false security blanket to the quarterback. And when he comes out to game 1 and he goes to turn to throw it over there, he's not going to be there. And it's going to be a problem. I think this is a huge mistake. If Arizona had these proofs and had these beliefs that he wasn't the guy, then move on, cut your loss and deal. The only reason Kingsbury gave him this money is because his job's on the line. He felt that if he started over, he'd be fired. So he gave Kyler, he backed up the truck and gave him his money, and it's going to end up blowing up his face, and he doesn't make the whole contract.
It's going to be it's going to go in flames. There's no other way to put it. And I talked about this on the extra point I did over the weekend. They overpaid him. He doesn't match up with his numbers. He's never led a team to the playoff win. He's never led a team to the division title. He's never thrown for this, never done that. And you throw all that on top of poor leadership, selfish, He refused to go in a football game last year when they were getting blown out. He refused to step on the field. Immature. All these questions. Then you don't pay him, and they paid him, and this is going to go down in flames when they're looking at the end of the year. They're going, well, who's the scapegoat this year, guys? Is it Kyle Murray?
Yeah.
Is it the head coach? And this coming out makes both of them look terrible. And if I'm Kyle Murray, I am livid right now. The Arizona Cardinals, and it's just a debacle. And it looks
These
like
are all the reasons that Arizona didn't want to pay him, and then all of a sudden they pay him.
Out of
so
blue.
You think
Out of the
that
blue.
they worked out their deal, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, by the way, we also put in a stipulation.
Yeah.
So what happens? Here's my question. What happens if he doesn't do it? What happens if he doesn't show up to 4 hours? What do they bench him? Do they get to void the contract? What
are they? I mean, do they have a guy that? All right, it's time to study. Let's go
clock
in here.
In, clock out. Put your fingerprint on the scanner. You know,
I don't know how
they got a guy babysitting him over there, and here's the film.
Apparently, and was it Jamarcus Russell?
Oh yeah,
that was one of the funniest stories I've ever heard. That they gave him a blank tape because they had a suspicion that he wasn't watching film, and they gave him a blank tape with nothing on it, and he comes back and he's like, how'd you like the tape?
I'm ready.
It's great. Yeah, he goes, it's great. I love the blitz packages, and they're like,
yeah, love the. They're like, what?
Did
we give him the wrong tape?
What are you talking about? Yeah,
yeah,
that's laughable. He go down as the biggest or one of the biggest busts.
Oh, him and Ryan Leaf are the two biggest flameouts in college football history. I mean, in pro football history. And Leaf was for a different reason, not necessarily work ethic. He got into some other stuff, but Jamarcus Russell was just. I mean, the Raiders just are like, what? I mean, I think they may still be paying him. It's insane. So yes, 100%. I think this goes up and blows up in the face of the Arizona Cardinals. I think the GM gets fired for giving him the contract. I think Kingsbury gets fired within the next year or two, and I think they end up cutting bait and moving on from Kyler Murray in the next 2 to 3 years.
And we all find out that last season was a fluke.
Oh, 100%. We knew that. We said that going in. Every week we were like, okay, well, they didn't play anybody.
Yeah.
And when you win a game on a Hail Mary, that the trajectory of the ball and the drop and this guy fell down and get out of here. You know, I mean, he just threw it up for a prayer and Hopkins saved him, or they lose that game.
I could tell you really love the Arizona Cardinals.
No,
all right. Well, we have Joe Burrow is getting surgery. When I heard that today, I was like, what? But don't worry, guys. It's just his appendix is being taken out. He will miss some of training camp, but he should be back and ready and healthy for regular season. So don't have a heart attack yet there, Bengals fans, because we all know without him, it's not looking pretty. But with him, you have a chance to go through. Yeah.
All our AFC predictions go right out the window if Cool Joe is not in behind the center of the Cincinnati Bengals.
Not even close.
Jamar Chase is visiting the hospital. Come on, buddy. Get up. You'll be okay.
Oh, so hopefully that he heals from that and we're all good to go there.
No, and I think the only thing you would have to worry about there is if any outside chance of infection or something to that effect. But as long as all that heals up, he should be back in 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and he'll be ready to go.
And he doesn't need camp.
No, he's been playing. He's been throwing the ball around the backyard for the whole time. You know, he's good.
Kind of sad news out of Seattle today. Chris Carson is to retire from the NFL after he has a really bad neck injury that basically came down to retire from football or you could end up paralyzed the rest of your life type of thing. And we're glad he chose to hang it up, and that's the safe thing to do. And Chris Carson, I think, was a fantastic, underrated running back in Seattle, and he was a guy that could run you over. Almost like Lynch, not as much as Lynch, but he was a guy that was definitely underrated. And they're a workhorse. The season for Seattle, the offseason continues to get worse as they lose their quarterback. They lose their running back, and he played, I believe, 5 seasons in the NFL while with Seattle. So
Yeah.
that's tough
Well,
news for them.
yeah, and he was hidden a lot of the time. He was hidden by Lynch. He was behind Lynch and would come in to give him breathers, and they're like, "Who is this guy? Where did he come from?" And when Lynch moved on and he took over the one spot, they didn't really miss Marshawn Lynch because this guy was a beast. This guy would run through you. This guy would run around you and could catch the football. And it is sad that he could have had a very good career, a very solid career, and it was cut way short by this injury. But this definitely, without a fathom of a doubt, is the absolute right decision because as big and as fast and as strong and as much as these guys fly around these days, I don't think it would have taken very long for that injury to become permanent and change his life forever. And nobody wants that,
especially at that position.
Yeah.
You see Peyton Manning had a neck injury and he had surgery.
And you're like, well, fusions and it doesn't work.
Yeah. So with the running back position being you're a battering ram every down, it seems like that it's good that he's stepping away. Maybe he comes back as like a running back coach somewhere, maybe in Seattle, and that'd be great to see. Or jumps on a set. We'll see him on the sideline. So the only other headline we have is kind of a big one today. If you still believe Julio Jones is a good wide receiver, Julio Jones, that guy right there on the screen, signs a 1-year deal with Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and everyone's like, I want him in Green Bay. He's washed. He's old. But he can work out in Tampa because he doesn't have to be a number one. Number one, if he went to Green Bay, he would have to be number one. He goes here, he's a number 3 or 4 option. He's not number one. And if anybody can make it work, is Tom Brady. As long as Julio Jones is healthy, it puts more pressure on the defense. I think it's a great signing for them, and it will definitely help them out. And it's probably the one team you don't want him going to when they have a plethora of options, and now they add Julio Jones, who is going to go up against the third cornerback or safety, the third option out there. And this could be scary there if he stays healthy. I'm still not a big believer in Julio. I think it's obviously his best years are behind him, but he could do some damage there in Tampa Bay with Tom Brady. Definitely.
Yeah, to be honest, I really wanted him in Dallas, just for that reason, to offset the CeeDee Lamb, right, to bridge the gap until Gallup comes back. Could you imagine Lamb, Gallup, and Julio Jones on the same football field? It gives them that option again. So if they got him for a low price and a league minimum, I don't know why Dallas didn't make the call and try to do this themselves, because it could have been.
Do you have the numbers on that?
Because I do not.
I just heard a 1-year deal.
I did not see the numbers on it. That's what I'm trying to figure out. If they got him for, if they gave him $6 or $7 million, then no. But if they gave him $1.5 million and incentive laden it for catches and yards and touchdowns and all that stuff, like a lot of these teams do, man, I just think that Dallas missed the boat on that, and Tampa, boy, they just when you think they can't get any better, they go and do something like this, and this is another move from Tom Brady. He calls the GM and goes, hey, Julio, make it happen. But Julio, make it happen. Don't worry about it. I'll take care of the rest. Just like Anthony Brown, just like Gronk, he gets these guys and he resurrects their career, and he gets them.
Antonio Brown.
Yeah, he lets him live in the house, and he
moves you into his.
He moves him into Jeter's mansion and goes, hey man, you take that wing over there, and we'll call it good. And I'm telling you, when you face him, hopefully week 1 he won't be ready, because I don't want Dallas' secondary to have to face that. That is a lot. And I didn't mind him in Tennessee. I thought he still gave them enough deal. And Tom Brady is a little bit better than Ryan Tannehill last I checked. So I think Julio will be fine. He could catch the ball, he could run. He's not going to go deep. He's not going to blow the doors off you, but he can still run some crossing routes. He can still run some good routes, and he can still catch a football when it hits him in the hands. And I think we all know that Brady's accuracy is not to be undersold.
Yeah, and that's what they said. Green Bay was in on him. He just decided to go to Tampa, and like I said, if he goes to Green Bay, he's our number one. And that's because the bad. That's because the wide receiver crew is a bunch of nobodies. So this works out for him better in Tampa Bay. And if Tampa Bay goes to the championship, hopefully they don't. Then
oh my God, hopefully
maybe we have someone to root for if it's not against the Bengals, because Julio Jones, he should already have a ring already, but the debacle in Atlanta there, so
he should.
Yeah.
Tom's like, hey, remember that when I cost you one? Now I'll give it back to you.
Yeah, I'll give it back to you.
I kind of owe you one, so
yeah.
To me, I mean, this is a smart decision by Julio. Wait out, and sign on with the guy that gives you the best chance to win. And if that's not going to be Josh Allen over in the AFC, Tom Brady and the cakewalk into the playoffs is not a bad place to settle for.
Definitely not. Well, we don't really have any more headlines, but I'm gonna bring up one here because Jerry Jones has been talking, and when Jerry Jones talks, it usually means there's quite a few headlines to talk about and discuss. Jerry Jones says Dallas Cowboys need to be viable in playoffs for it to be a successful season. Look, this is straight up pressure on Coach McCarthy. He's great at putting pressure on his head coaches. The position comes with a lot of pressure because they won a billion years ago. But did you see the question, that the very first question asked to Coach McCarthy?
No.
They asked him about the pressure about him losing his job. The very first question out of the gate was nothing and his response was classic. This is Coach McCarthy's response. I'm going to have to read it to you. It says, "It's irritating that the first question you ask me has nothing to do with how I do my job. I show up every day to work for winning a championship. How do we win today? That's what I'm asking. My viewpoint is it's not a story. It's a media-driven narrative, or at least a narrative driven outside my realm." Right off the bat, they're already bringing it up. Hey, you got two coaches right above your shoulders. Jerry Jones says you must be viable in the playoffs to have a successful season. How's the pressure? And he's trying to, there's pressure there. Okay. You ain't going to deny it. I know he's doing his best job to kind of deflect it and not even think about it. But he's got a lot of pressure heading into the season. And then Jerry Jones comes out and talks about how he's old and he doesn't have much time and he needs to win now. So I love when Jerry Jones speaks because it always gives us something to talk about, and it's fantastic.
I'm sure you've seen it. The TikTok, the guy that does all the coaches and the faces and the AFC and the NFC and all that stuff, and he did a fired coaches one, and it shows McCarthy. And he goes, "Mike, what are you doing here? You didn't get fired." He's like, "I didn't." He's like, "How could they not fire me? I was terrible."
Nice. Yeah, some of those TikTokers are great with all that.
Man. Oh God, that guy's a genius, man. The quarterback, great. He's like, "Dad," talking about to Tom Brady.
Yeah.
He's like, "Why do you keep calling me Dad?"
It's a great. There's a couple out there that I always share.
But yeah, I think we all know that McCarthy, unless they win at least one playoff game and go to the next round and win the East. I mean, if they don't win the East,
he's out.
Then he's gone immediately. And like we've talked about in previous deals, I can show you a path where Aaron Rodgers gets him fired for a second time.
That would be hilarious. But
yeah, I can show you the path where they lose the first couple games, split against Washington and the Giants, and go into Green Bay in week 6 or 7 and get shellacked, and the team just goes and waves the white flag, and McCarthy doesn't make the team play home to Green Bay, and Aaron Rodgers comes up and goes, "Sorry, bud, got you fired again." I can show you the facts. I hope it's not the case because I'm not a Kellen Moore fan as a head coach. I don't think he's ready. I don't think he needs to be the head coach. Maybe the defensive coordinator from Atlanta. They won one game for him last year and he played with a DiNucci third string quarterback and won a football game. But I just don't think – I wasn't a fan of McCarthy when they hired him. There was a lot of people, he's got the skins on the wall. He's got Super Bowls. I was not a fan of him. I think they did a poor job. I think he did pulled the wool over Jerry's eyes.
He watched every game.
Every game 6 times. When he find out, he didn't watch none of them.
Yeah, he came out and said, I didn't watch that. I just said that to get a job.
I was in my basement drinking Milwaukee's best down here in Neal, and I just fooled the old man. And Jerry just sat there at the press office going, you didn't what, Mike? You didn't what? You didn't watch the game. What? Like,
oh my gosh.
I have never been a fan of this guy from day one, and to be honest with you, I kind of hope that he gets canned.
Look,
I just don't think I have my expectations for the Dallas Cowboys that coming into this year. I'm gonna let you know right now, they're not real high. I have them in the East, but it's because it's by default. I think they're the best of the worst teams in the deal, and I don't think they go very far in the playoffs. Coming against teams like the Rams, coming against teams like Tampa, coming against teams like Minnesota. I just don't think they can compete with teams like that. Unless he's just done something that I haven't seen. I just don't think the Dallas Cowboys have what it takes to beat teams like Green Bay and Tampa and the Rams.
Like Coach McCarthy,
I just can't.
Coach McCarthy is who he is because of Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers won the championship. Aaron Rodgers got him fired. That is totally true. He purposely lost against Arizona, a really bad Arizona team in Green Bay. And I told you can ask my wife. I told her that day. I said, if they lose to Arizona today, Coach McCarthy will be fired. I guarantee it. We lose in a horrible fashion. We didn't even look like we showed up. They fire McCarthy. And that is what it is. And when y'all hired him, I said, this guy is not that good. And Jerry Jones kept going back to, and we'll still go back to, we've seen him win a championship. We've seen him. It's happened. Well, yeah, Jerry, that was 11 to 12 years ago. All right.
You were good back then.
Yeah. He has done nothing since then. He's been his record since then has been horrible. So quit looking in the past and look for the now.
First year in Dallas and kind of pulled the wool over people's eyes again. But I don't know. I'm not a big fan.
Well, I'm not a big fan either. I don't think he brings much to your team, and that's why I'm glad he's still around. So there in Dallas. But all right, Craig. Well, we answered the question of the week, was CeeDee Lamb going to be the number one? Is he ready to take over that number one spot? I said no. Craig said yes. We got your headlines of the week. Now, Craig, what's in your locker this week? Have you done anything new or got anything going on?
We're gonna get through the rest of this week and try to bite that bullet and
not eat it, just bite it.
Yeah, and try to get through the next 3 days, work Saturday, and then do nothing. And when I say do nothing, I mean nothing. Oh, yeah, going to see Garth Brooks Saturday night. That's what we're going to do.
How'd you forget about me seeing Garth Brooks on Saturday?
Yeah.
Garth freaking Brooks.
That's how the week's been, is that I've completely forgotten that we're going to go
your mind off there
Saturday night. So,
that sounds like fun.
Yeah, Josh asked me if I wanted to go, and I was like, yeah, let's do it. It's on the bucket list. And when I found out that you can stand in AT&T Stadium for $30, let me do that.
That's how I watch the football games.
Anyhow, we're going to do that, and hopefully that'll be fun and entertaining, and he still puts on a show like he did a decade ago.
They say he does.
And
have you ever been?
No, not to him. That's like I said, it's been the bucket list.
I've
The
been
guy
twice.
that I normally am all in on is Jason Aldean. That comes in August, and we'll be there. But um, I've never had the opportunity to see this, and actually, I found it when I was looking for the other tickets. And so just kind of backed into it. And when I saw it and saw the price on it, I figured it would be way out of the price range to go see him. And when it wasn't, it's something you can't pass up. This guy is supposed to be amazing. So
I've
hopefully
been
hopefully that goes the way it's supposed to Saturday night, and we'll go from there.
I've seen him twice when I was younger, and by far the best country show I've ever seen.
Yeah, see,
And I've seen
Aldean puts on an amazing show.
I've never seen him, but
And so does Dirks, and so it'll be comparable to see how he ranks to them.
now when he was younger, he was on a bungee cord swinging around the stadium on a guitar. Stage is on fire when he's standing outside the fire. He puts on a show. So I don't know if he still does that, being as old as he is, but he says they're gonna have to carry me off the stage. So hopefully
Yeah,
it's a good
yeah.
show
He
for
said
him.
there's no more retirement. They're gonna have to
Yeah.
bury me.
Yeah,
Putting on concerts.
he said his
So,
retirement's behind him. So
yeah.
well, hopefully that's a good show for you. I ain't got much. I've been training Bert at work. That's been pretty good. Days are a little bit longer. Training people, you know how that goes. But I'm looking forward to getting off this downtown route. So after Friday, I'm done with it. I think Brett will be training Bert, and we'll go from there. I don't know what I'm doing next week, but working Saturday. Saturday, my wife's got a big family dinner that she's going to, so I'll be babysitting. Well, not babysitting, watching my kids all day long. And then the week after is Austin's party. Is that the week after?
Yes, the 6th.
So we'll be doing that and be looking forward to hanging out and actually bringing the wife this time. She'll be able to come to that. So, but other than that, my wife has a doctor's appointment tomorrow for her back. She's got a really bad back. So hopefully we can work on fixing that. If you've listened to the fan, you've heard of QC Kinetics. She's going there tomorrow, so we'll see how that works and see if it's worth it. See if they recommend her being a patient and all that stuff.
It's supposed to be magic.
It's supposed to be, but that's also probably going to be really expensive. It's deemed a experimental thing, so it's not covered by it's not covered by insurance. So I told her, don't get your hopes up. We'll go here and see if it's going to work and see if we can afford it. But hopefully we get something done because her back's pretty bad, and it's not really like spinal, like bones. It's more like nerves and joints and stuff that cause her to. She works only on Saturdays. When she comes home from standing up on her back all day, it's bathtub and lay in bed because she can't move. It hurts. So
Yeah.
hopefully we get that taken care of, but won't be all tomorrow. But I got to rush and get done so she can go to that. But other than that, I mean, it's just work, and that's pretty much about it. We're gonna do this new segment, the question of the week. Each Tuesday, me and Craig will think of a question and discuss it and kind of break it down, and then we'll give you the headlines, of course. And then whenever the Derek Jeter story is over, the documentary, which I tried to watch that the other day, and ESPN Plus is being stupid, so I don't know how I'll be able to watch it. So we'll have to figure that out. But we're going to watch and review that for you. Derek Jeter's amazing, and go from there. But other than that, that's your show tonight, guys. We got your show coming on Friday with the spotlight of the week. We're going to break down our NFC brackets. We're going to give you our top 7 teams, break down the playoffs, and then we'll be able to give you our Super Bowl division, our Super Bowl matchup going in to the season, and kind of our suggestions, our opinions. Now on last Friday's show, we all had the Buffalo Bills going to the Super Bowl, so we'll see. Hopefully we won't have the same NFC team. See if we can. We'll see how that happens and strolls out. But all right, guys. Well, remember, to always keep it outspoken. And we'll see you on Friday.